Hey lovelies, this is Cookie, and you're listening to Cookie Jar Unleashed, a podcast that'll bring you author spotlights, news on the latest book releases, and so much more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey lovelies, it's Cookie. Welcome back to Cookie Jar Unleashed. It is hard to believe that we are already in July. Like, where has the time gone? Well, actually, 2022 has gone slow, like some days, and other days it's gone super fast, so I don't know. How do you feel about 2022? Like, I'm kind of over it already, but I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. Alright, let's do our July books. Happy early release to Jessie Bond, who we will hear from later on in the show. Her book is releasing tomorrow, which is July 2nd. Her book is titled Vanilla Cupcakes and Twisted Rainbows. That is a romance read. Releasing July 3rd, we have The Passion Fruit Files, A Murder on Independence Day by C.K. Timber. That is a cozy, mystery, clean, paranormal romance fantasy. Also, I do owe C.K. Timber a huge apology because on my last podcast, for some strange reason, I decided to say flies instead of files. So again, that title is The Passion Fruit Files, Murder on Independence Day. Also, we have July 8th, Pestilence Cure by Reza Graywood. That is a contemporary romance with power exchange elements. July 20th release is Cordial Cherry on Top by April Lynn Baker. That is an MC fairy tale retelling. Also releasing on July 20th, we have The Nerdy Girl, a Dogs of Mercy novella by P.A. Vachon. She also has another book releasing on July 20th. That one's called John Thomas, also a Dogs of Mercy novella. Releasing July 26th, The Dark Tide by Maria Vermeulen. That is a YA Magical Academy Merman. June releases, we have Break Even by Hope Malone, an Opposites Attract curvy girl short romance. A Time to Kill by Justina Luther, that is a horror. Razor's Edge by Andy Lynn, that is an MC romance. The Hitman's Rose by S.E. Isaac, which is me, that is a mafia romance. Sex, Lies, and Techie Guys by Barbara Campbell. That is a steamy contemporary menage romance. Love Like This by Haven Rose, and that is a contemporary romance. And there you have it, your June releases. Okay, I recently did an author takeover for Crystal St. Clair's birthday bash, and I asked there in the group, what is something that you cannot stand in a book? You know, because I'm nosy. Let's call it what it is. So one of the things that someone said is cliffhangers. They're with them. Like, I don't like cliffhangers because what happens if the author decides not to write the second book? You know, so you're just left hanging there. You know, and then, I mean, so much stuff can happen to where the second book doesn't get written. Or the third or the fourth, so on and so forth. But what are your thoughts on cliffhangers? Do you like them as long as they're written well? Do you prefer no cliffhangers? Or are you like edge of your seat, must have a cliffhanger, you know, like, I don't know, like, personally, I hate cliffhangers. I absolutely despise them. I don't like writing them in my books either. My first book that I ever published, Country Fever, I had a cliffhanger at the very, 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 very end of it, you know, and I was like, At the time I didn't think about it, but now looking back at it, I was like, I'm really lucky that readers didn't have pitchforks and torches, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, there's readers out there like me and like the other reader that had commented on the post, you know, cliffhangers aren't cool. But again, I'm curious your thoughts, so be sure to leave a comment under the podcast, or you can find me on social media. Welcome back. It is now time to put author Jessie Bond in the hot seat.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. My name is Jessie Bond. I'm a romance author, and it's terrific to be here.
The pleasure is all mine. I am so excited that you are here to join us on Cookie Jar Unleashed. So, curious minds want to know, what made you become a writer?
So that's kind of funny. What made me become an author is a spur of the moment, really. So it was COVID, it was 2020, and I got my hands on romance books for the first time, paranormal romance to be specific, and I just dug in. I absolutely loved them, but when I got into them, I discovered that I wasn't that enamored with the female persona that I found in many of them. They were naive, they weren't very natural, and so I just kind of went for it and picked up the computer and just started writing. And next thing I know, I have Alex, which, in White River Pack, she is headstrong, a self-made woman, one of those types of girls that I could really get behind. So, and from there, I just discovered that I love it. I found my niche, and I think it's just going to continue growing from here.
I have no doubt you are going to flourish as a writer. I am super excited to see your journey, and that is you have such an inspirational story. Like, you just decided, you know what, I don't like these books, I'm going to write my own. That is super inspirational, so kudos to you for that. So, do you just write romance, or do you write other genres as well?
Oh, what do I write? I am all over the board. So you can say that I'm a romance author, sure. So I started out writing paranormal romance, a trilogy, and then I moved on from that into reverse harem romance and dark romance and fantasy adventure romance, and now I am full swing into gay male romance, and I just absolutely adore it. Sometime about a year ago, I finally did get frustrated enough with those female characters that I delved into reading male romance, and I love the battles that they have to face, and I'm 500 books deep in the last 2 years, and I am a speed writer and a speed reader, and I absolutely love writing everything that has to do with relationships and adventure, and anything that could be imagined. I am all for it.
It sounds like you've really just gone headfirst into being an author. Like, I am just so amazed right now. Is there anything about being an author that you find challenging, or is it all pretty easy for you?
Oh, being an author and a full-time employee working a full-time job, it is hard. On top of that, I'm married with a husband who'd like some attention, and 2 children, 8 and 5, who obviously need some attention. So the hardest part about being an author is just finding the time to write and having the headspace to do so. I think I do a good job balancing that. After the kids go to bed, I spend a short time with my husband, and then I hide myself away in a cubby and I start writing. Some days it works and some days it doesn't, but overall, I think everyone just has to find your smooth sailing, and I think I do a pretty darn good job of it. But it is hard. It's totally hard.
Well, you definitely have your plate full. However, I'm so glad to hear that you have a system down, 'cause I think that's what a lot of us struggle with, so that's good to hear. All right, so the famous question, what is your author dream?
The dream? The dream is to be an author all the time. I am an author. I feel myself as an author. I love my stories. I stand behind them. But the overall goal, I adore writing. That is what I love. And so if I can get there someday to be that's the only thing I do, well, I have achieved that dream, and it will be terrific.
Well, I do wish you the very best of luck reaching that goal, and I have a feeling you're getting pretty close to that, so fingers and toes crossed for you. When you aren't writing, and when you have downtime, I know it seems to be like a full plate, but when you do have downtime, what do you enjoy doing?
Did I mention my kids? So yeah, when I'm not writing, I am reading. I read a lot. I like to go camping. I have my family. We like to do all kinds of activities. I have a close group of friends. We like to play board games, big ones, like Gloomhaven and Zombicide, big adventure board games. They're terrific. I do like video games. I like getting together for dinner parties. And eventually here, I'd like to, branch out and do some new stuff. We just moved to a new town, and I'm game for whatever. So I'm ready to get outside and enjoy.
Board games seem fun. Those sound like very intense board games, like not simple, like the ones I'm used to playing. So I did skip a question, and we've already kind of know the answer, but do you enjoy reading?
Oh, yes, I definitely enjoy reading. As I kind of went over already, but my favorite place to read, I am probably a little bit addicted to my Kindle. I do have a home library, but at this point I go through books in every 2 to 3 days. So it would be a very expensive habit to have paperbacks of every book I love. And you know what? I find most books I read are 4 or 5 star books. I'm not one of those people who's really picky. If it has adventure, if it has, if it's entertaining, I am a happy camper. So where do I read? Everywhere. Sometimes I might get in trouble for that, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to do other than writing.
What was the last book that you read?
What was the last book I read? It was, so I was alpha reading a novel for C.K. Timber, and it's actually coming out in July, and it was terrific. It's about this vampire who is, he's a cowboy vampire. He's an interesting character, and he's investigating a murder, and it has one heck of a cool plot, and I really enjoyed it. It's a little different than what I normally do, but I really enjoy her books, and they're really creative.
Okay, the famous romance reader question. Do you have a book boyfriend?
I have a book boyfriend. I do. Now, this one goes back to when I was actually reading a lot more, contemporary romance, traditional hetero romance. So it is Neil Elwood is the name of this guy, and he is your typical billionaire. He really fits a niche. There's a little bit of BDSM in the books, but it's The Girlfriend by Abigail Barnett. She has 8 books in the series, and I don't know what it is about him. They go through these life changes that are so realistic, and somehow he is really larger than life. Absolutely #1 book boyfriend.
Since you're in the hot seat, I must ask the most difficult question, or at least it seems to be the most difficult question to ask anybody, any avid reader. Who is your favorite author?
My favorites. Well, I loved The Vampire Lestat when I grew up, so Anne Rice was a favorite. Terry Brooks was a favorite. I read all of the Shannara series all the way up to the end because, oh my gosh, I just feel like my heart's going to rip out being the last book. Favorite authors of all time. Nowadays, I'd say Cam Newhold, Jennifer Cody, Lily Mayne. Gosh, there's so many. I really just love the entertainment, and I really like indie authors because there for the longest time I bought books that were, like I said, Anne Rice or Nelson DeMille, and they are wonderful authors, well known. Obviously, they deserve their respect, but there are just so many wonderful stories out there by indie authors, and I love supporting them. So favorites. I have a Goodreads account with 500 books on it, and tons of 4 and 5 stars if anyone wants to check them out, because there are some excellent authors out there, and there's no way I'm going to remember every single name right now.
All right, it's time for me to hand over the mic to author Jessie Bond. She's going to tell us more about her book.
Vanilla Cupcakes and Twisted Rainbows is a cupcake series novella coming out July 2nd. This book is super fun and super sweet. It's about angels. It's a male-male love story about the archangel Gabriel. So here's what it's about. I am Gabriel, the MCCXXIII. That's right, 1223rd in line since the first Gabriel. He was way back at the start of time. No, the version humans knew and wrote about was Gabriel DCC XII, Sir 712. Angelic to his pinky toe, my ancient ancestor was bold and brave, an archangel of great wisdom, which spoke into dreams the divine word of our Lord. He even spoke with Mary herself. To say I was his descendant, that wasn't the way it worked in the heavens. I was him. He was me. We'd reincarnated 1,223 times. Each one of those lifetimes had taken thousands of years. Not that time passed in heaven the same as it did on earth. Thank you, my God, for that. As it was, I was nothing special. My best friend Michael, yes, the Michael, believed differently, for I was born with the angelic number, destined to be the one to bring romance and love, profound emotions, and unwavering optimism to all. Young and handsome, if I did say so myself, I had grown bored waiting for my grand love magic to activate. So far, I found that I was only good at one thing. I made the best vanilla cupcakes. So vanilla cupcakes and twisted rainbows. This book is just too fun. It's a total play on heaven, a total play on angels. Yes, it's gay, and I am just okay with that. Gabe is awesome. He loves with all of his being, and he's there to, find his way. This book is about him finding his purpose, and if anyone deserves to find their purpose, Gabe does. I'll leave it at that. Trigger is it's crosses a few boundaries, but there's nothing too obnoxious. There is adult content. He does fall in love with another man, very, very much so. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy it. It's really, really fun to write and fun to read, and a little bit emotional right along there too. So yeah, you can pick it up on Amazon. You can get a link from my website at jessiebondauthor.com, and I really hope you enjoy. Thank you so much, Cookie, for having me on. It's been great to be here.
Thank you so much, Jessie, for being on Cookie Jar Unleashed. We wish you much success to not only your new release that comes out tomorrow, but also to your author career as a whole. Alright, lovelies, it's that time again. It's time to close the lid on the cookie jar. But before I do, there are a few things that I want to mention. There is something going on behind the curtains over here at Cookie Jar Unleashed. I am super, super excited. I can't wait to have more details to give you all. I will say that maybe you'll be able to see me soon. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Alright, until next time, hugs and kisses, Cookie.